Good evening, parents, and welcome to the midnight edition of the Watchdog Report. And this is Mariana. So, good morning to everybody, and happy Mother's Day. I hope you guys have a great Mother's Day. I'm planning to spend it with my family too. Hopefully, we'll have beautiful weather. Okay, so why am I here at midnight? For crying out loud. Okay, so I am here at midnight because I have been getting um some calls and text messages from some parents concerned about the primaries on May 20th. So May 20th is the primary, okay? And guys, find out which polls you have to go to. If you want to volunteer to work in the poll, give us a call. We'll get you connected with the right people, okay? Because we always need volunteers. But anyway, the question that the parents have is they want to know um, the candidates that are running for Region 2 and 3, who are the real conservatives? So there have been a lot of questions surrounding Brian Guistwhite and Teri Mickle. Teri Mickle is running against Kelly Brandt, and Kelly Brandt is one of our school board directors for Region 2, and she is the president, and she's done a great job. Listen, sometimes I say, lady, you're like Wonder Woman because all the attacks that she's been, going through with the left, with the left mob and the lawfare and, which is a bogus, lawsuit. The attacks, the coordinated attacks from Abigail Turney, and the veteran school board members that are left there and the former ones too. Okay, ever since they came into office, the new board members, they've been through a lot, and then you add on there that they have to clean up the mess that the former board members left. Oh Lord. So she is running, okay, for re-election. But then we have Teri Mickle. And for Region 3, we have Sandra Gonzalez. Now we know that this is a fiery little lady that she comes to, these board meetings and she just pounds out the truths, okay? And she's not, very liked by the former board members and the veteran board members, but well, she's not liked because she speaks the truth. And she's out here to fight for your kids, fight for your voice, fight for your rights, fight for transparency. Okay, so she's fighting for the right reasons, guy, and that's a little warrior there. And she is coming against the incumbent, which is Brian Guistwhite. Okay, now Brian Guistwhite has served on the board for like 15 years, but unfortunately, every good thing got to come to an end. And I myself, I am a parent of the West Shore School District and I'm a taxpayer of the West Shore School District. I've been to these meetings and he have left a lot to be desired. Sometimes when you get power crazy or power hungry, you make decisions that you shouldn't, like silencing the parents and allowing, inappropriate material to come into the school district. And the parents were basically fighting with him more than anything else because he has this way of thinking that the parents cannot have the last word. And this is his way of thinking. Yes, they're trying to spin him off as a conservative Republican, but like the Bible says, you shall know them by their fruit. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of rotten fruit the last couple of years from Brian Guistwhite. And it's a shame. It's a shame because I believe this is a man that had a lot of potential, but hey, you get power crazy, you get power hungry, and you start, abusing your power. And when you abuse your power, well, sometimes you abuse the people, whether you realize it or not. So let's talk about it. I mean, there's a lot of, concerns out there. What do they stand for? Who's endorsing them? Well, I'll tell you this. They are running under the bipartisan banner, Brian Guistwhite and Teri Mickle. Bipartisan, they are not. Okay? But that's the new thing. That's the new style. Okay, everybody wants to be bipartisan now, either because they want to compromise with the left or they're too cowardly to stand up for what's right. Because that's how I see it. When you run bipartisan, I mean, that means nothing to me. I need to know what you're about. And I believe that this cross filing nonsense that we have going on in Pennsylvania should not be allowed. Okay. Now, that being stated, Teri Mickle and Brian Guistwhite and Cambic and Mary Donkowski. Okay, Cambic and Mary Dinkowski are running for Region 1, and they're going uncontested. Okay, because nobody threw their name in the hat to challenge them. And it's a shame because Mary Dinkowski is just going to be a younger version of Abigail Turney. She used to be a principal, I believe, in Sutton, York, and she left the position. And the rumor has it, okay, and I have read some things also about it. Okay, so I have read some things about this that she left. Um, I guess she was upset that the district used the Independence Law Center to create a policy. She's also pro BLM, pro Antifa, and pro everything that's woke. She's so woke, it's a joke. And Cambic, well, you guys have heard me before. Okay, I compare him to Beaker from the Muppets. He just sit there and breathe air, and he is trying to claim, recognition, or he's trying to state that he's the one behind the natatorium repairs, and he's not. He's not. We all know that natatorium repair, was the baby of Mrs. Brent, but he's trying to claim the fame for himself. So let's just be fair, okay? But who are these people? Okay, what do they stand for? Who are endorsing them? Well, they're being endorsed by some progressive, liberal, woke organizations. One of them being West Shore Student First. Okay, so West Shore Student First have a website, okay, that you can type up, and you can see they have a tab that speaks about their values, okay, and what they believe in. So I, of course, went into that tab, and they are endorsing these two candidates and the other two. So they are running under the same bill, under the same, let's say slate, because they were just seeing a town meeting, and I believe that was sponsored by West Shore Unify, which is another woke socialist organization that just recently started this year. And their main job is what I say is to start chaos. Okay, anyway, so West Shore Student First. Is endorsing them. And if you look at their sign, especially Brian Guistwhite, who claims to be a conservative, you see that the signs were donated by them. And if you go on the site, they have a section called Our Candidates, and all their pictures are there. Now, mind you, they either use a younger version of him for the picture, or because he shaved, maybe, but he doesn't look like the lemon hair that we have here. Okay. But that being stated, let's see what their values are. So, securing inclusive learning environments is a place where everyone feels welcome, respected, and protected. No matter who they are. It ensures that all people, including LGBTQ individuals, can themselves without fear of discrimination, bullying, or exclusion. You see, and this is a big talking piece. And you hear this. If you saw the meeting on Thursday, everything was fear, fear, fear. You guys are so fearful of things that you don't know, discrimination. They're being discriminated on, and they're being bullied on. And, that went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay, and the reality is that nobody is discriminating against them, nobody's bullying them, and nobody's excluding them. It's all, a rhetoric. It's all a talking point that these people, and these organizations have all followed suit, and it's almost the same script. It's almost the same script. So they're being, radicalized. These candidates are being radicalized by these organizations, and also what I call is the style of the season, the fashion of the season. So basically, they believe one of their values for West Shore parents, oh no, I'm sorry, West Shore students first, is to, like always, protect the LGBTQ. Okay, and yeah, we should protect the LGBTQ, and I don't think anybody will be against that. What people are against is the preferential treatment that they're constantly demanding, that it's either my way or the highway. And if you don't see things my way, then you're a bigot, you're a bigot, you're a bigot, you're a bully, you're a bully, you're a bully, and that's often, what happens here. So, okay. Um, They believe in respectful identity. By that, they mean names and pronouns and identities being honored. This is what they stand for. Okay. And these people took their endorsement, which means that, they align with this. Okay. They support. They support for resources for the LGBTQ students and educators to have access to safe places and community support. There's another, buzzword, safe places. Oh, they hurt my feelings, safe places. And it's not about, now I need somewhere to go cry, okay, with a teddy bear. It's not about that anymore. If, they feel that they've been bullied, discriminated, now they can actually, press a charge or accuse somebody of attacking them, and it gets uglier, And if it's a child, well, a child will get reprimanded, even if the child, didn't mean it, or if the child is defending themselves, because a lot of times, this particular, group of people are always accusing others of bullying them when they're actually the bullies, and we've seen that. Okay. Representation, diverse perspective, experience, and histories are acknowledged in learning materials. So they believe, okay, and they support all this woke agenda and curriculum. Okay, so if they are saying it themselves, we're not making this stuff up. This comes from their website. So basically they're for pronouns, they're for trans kids, and again, it's nothing against the trans kids, it's the ideology. Okay, they're for trans kids, therefore more of this foolishness. um they believe that, the LGBT community is being treated unfairly, and they're here to protect them and protect their gender or their sexuality. Nobody should be discriminated based on that. And that was a talking point. If you saw the school board meeting, that's something that they were saying. Okay, that they were being treated unfairly because of this policy, Title IX, which from the very beginning, from its origins, were made and was created to protect women's sports, to give women their own space. Okay, so this was one of the talking points. Okay, safe spaces. We have spoken about safe spaces before. Community support. Oh, they have the support of the community. What they don't have from the community is this sense of entitlement. The community is not going to give into their sense of entitlement. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, and diverse perspective, experience, and histories are acknowledged in learning material. And a lot of the learning material, okay, and you go into these libraries, um, it's basically indoctrination. So they're telling you right now, we support indoctrination. You see, guys, like I've been saying to you the whole year, you have to listen and hear for certain buzzwords. Anytime you hear safe spaces, inclusion, equity, okay, pronouns, community support, learning material, diverse perspective and learning material, all that means is woke agenda and indoctrination. But yet Teri Mickle has stand, okay, in front of the board many times, and when she speaks saying, we are not for woke agendas. We are not for, woke curriculum. That's not what we're about. We're bipartisan. We don't want to bring agendas and politics into the school, but yet they are. Yet they are. Okay, so let's continue. The second slide on the values. Okay, every decision we support prioritizes the well being, safety, and success of students above else. But what they mean is safe spaces where they feel protected and free from discrimination. Respectful identity through inclusive policies, language, and support. Equal opportunity to thrive academically and socially, as long as it's equal and not equity, because we said in another video, there is a difference. Okay, we want equality. So okay, equal opportunity to thrive academically and socially. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. Advocacy and visibility, so the needs are considered in every decision. So basically, we have to consider, again, entitlement. We have to consider in every decision. Well, school is to learn and to give everybody the equal opportunity to get an education and, succeed in life. But they want all the extra bells and whistles, entitlement agendas. Do you guys see it? Entitlements, agendas, curriculums, mental health surveys, counselors. We have to get them what they feel they need in order to, you know, I hate saying it this way, but in order to solidify their delusions at times. Now, she didn't say this in the school board meeting, did she? No. She goes and her people are knocking on the door saying that she's not for none of this, that she's not for all of this, but yet she's taking the endorsement of a organization that is all for this. And so is he. Brian Guistwhite is going around, saying that he's a conservative and he's been 15 years, but what he's not telling you is how badly he's failed in those 15 years. And if we're in the situation that we are in presently with the administration, with the budget and with everything else, that's the man to blame. It's on his shoulders. Okay. But yep, they're conservatives. You decide. Um, Number 3, school needs enough money and resources to support every student. A good education, where did that go? A good education helps people make smart decisions and improve their communities. When schools do well, society grows and democracy stays strong. All right, so school needs enough money and resources to support every student. A good education helps people make smart decisions and improve their communities. When schools do well, society grows and democracy stays strong. School needs enough money. That's an attack on the cyber school children because they are always claiming, this group of people in this organization, cyber school bad, cyber school bad, cyber school bad. Parents, are getting $1,000 gift cards. Cyber school bad. No, cyber school, it's there as an option because they are against parental choice. And unfortunately, the parents are pulling the kids out, okay, because of things that the administrations and situations and incidents, let's use their own words, incidents that they are refusing to address. Okay. And this has been happening when the previous school board members were there and ignoring all this, and the situation has just gotten worse. Okay. And okay, a good education helps people make smart decisions and improve their communities. Okay, fine. I'm not going to argue that. Okay, but when schools do well, society grow and democracy stays strong. And this is one thing guys have to be very careful. They like to play semantics. Okay, we need a strong republic because we are a republic, and this district has gone into this little little trip down to the hole in Alice in Wonderland, down the rabbit hole, and they keep saying democracy, we're a democracy, we're a democracy. We are not a democracy. The United States have never been a democracy. We have been a republic, and we are still a republic, so we need to keep a strong republic. So what is the definition of a strong republic? A strong republic is a system of government where the power is held by the people and their elected representatives rather than a single ruler. It operates under a set of laws that protect individual rights and ensures fairness for all. Key traits of a strong republic: rule of law. Everyone, including leaders, must follow the law. Elected leadership. Citizens choose their representative through fair elections. Check and balances. Different branches of government prevent one group from having too much control. Individual rights. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. And this is something that we have to emphasize, okay? Because these organizations that are supporting, Teri Mickle and Brian Guistwhite, and I will prove it to you a little later, okay? They are on the mission to stop the freedom of speech. and religion and other rights are protected. So individual rights of freedom of speech, religion, and other rights are protected. And this is something that these organizations, like West Shore Student First, okay, and West Shore Unified, and anytime you hear those terms, are looking to try to stop and limit. They want to silence you. They want to silence your faith, okay? And they want to take your rights away. And these are the people that, are endorsing them, okay? It's their own words, okay? Civic engagement. People actively participate in decisions making through voting and advocacy. So, a democracy, the most simplest way I can help you understand what a democracy is, a democracy is mob rule. A group of people rule. A republic, the people rule, and it's through their elected representatives. Okay, that's the difference. So we need to get off this democracy thing that we got going on and say the truth. We are a republic, not a democracy. Republic is a form of democracy where people elect representatives to make decisions for them under a structured government with laws. Example, the US is a republic. People vote for leaders, but their leaders follow a constitution that protects the right. And these group of people, like West Shore Student First and West Shore Unify, have an issue with the Constitution. They can say no, 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 but believe me, it's yes, 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 because we have heard it from their mouth, we have read it from their sites, and we have seen what they're doing. And they are the ones endorsing Brian Guistwhite, Teri Mickle, Cambic, and then Koski. And Region 1, this is just the primary. I highly suggest and encourage that you guys look among each other. And if we have to do a very strong write in for somebody, then let's do it. And I would love to see a strong man with a strong voice throw his hat, okay, in this election and just turn this around because we have a problem in Region 1. That is our most problematic region. But let's continue. So they have a tab that says candidates, okay, and they put it right there. These are the candidates that they endorse, okay. Um, and they put regardless of political affiliation, we endorse all who will put students' need above everything else, maintain the highest ethical standards, and operate with transparency, unite community and listen to all voices, trust in the expertise of our school administrators and staff. Yeah, okay, we have a problem with administration, do we not? Okay. Respect taxpayers and responsibly manage district finances. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not understanding why they're endorsing Guistwhite because we're in this financial budgetary mess because of him. Because we really are. And they do not respect the taxpayers. We've seen that. They want your money, but they will not give you they will not give you respect. Okay. Administration, like I said, is a mess. Do they currently listen to all voices? Well, everything that we just read, obviously not. They're only listening to the voices and the desires of one group of people. Okay, anybody who's woke, anybody who's on the left, anybody who is, endorsing and promoting these woke agendas. We just read that. Okay, so but who are the candidates? Let's take a look. I already told you that Cambic is a candidate. And I already told you that Denkoski is a candidate. Okay, but who else do we have? Oh me, oh my, Brian Guistwhite. Brian Guistwhite. Okay, so here he's giving his version of everything he claims that he has accomplished. Okay, and the reality is that I'm not going to say that everything that he did was bad. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that the last couple of years, okay, in which he was in leadership, okay, as a board member, he failed. As a president, he failed. He failed. Okay, he got us in the situation that we are, and the parents did not want to deal with him. And when the new board members came in, I don't know if you guys remember the ones that were there. That room was packed, and when they finally named Heidi Thomas as the president, do you guys remember that the room just erupted in cheering and clapping, and people were like overjoyed because we got rid of this dictator? Do you guys remember that? Think back. I can probably pull up the videos because we finally got rid of Brian Guistwhite, that he was no longer in that seat. Okay, but now he's, playing the bipartisan game. Before, when he first ran, he ran as a write-in as a strong conservative Republican voice. Okay, and either the cheese fell off his cracker, but now he's bipartisan. But he'll tell you that he's conservative while taking the monies of the Democrats, because they're not bipartisan, they're Democrats. The money of the woke people to help him run his campaign. We already saw part of what they believe in, did we not? Did we not? And then who else is part of the candidates? Oh me, oh my, Teri Mickle. Now, a lot of people, are like, well, she's being supported by a lot of people like the Greater Harrisburg Realtors Association. Yeah, they are. But you know what? If you go on their website, oh, what do you see? Diversity. Okay. Awareness of cultural and personal biases. Okay. That may inhibit you from embracing diversity. So they are teaching their people, their realtors. Okay. You know, conservative bad, conservative bad. Okay. Stay away from these biases. We have to embrace diversity. We have to be aware of cultural and personal biases. So what am I telling you with that? That they're a bunch of liberal hacks. So liberals are gonna always, support a liberal. Yeah, she got their, endorsement. They're liberals pushing a woke agenda. She got the endorsement from, as Brian Guys did also, of the West Shore Student First. The liberals pushing the liberal agenda. They're not here for you and for your kids. They're here for their agendas. They're here for their political agendas, their woke agendas, their curriculums. In other words, everything that we have worked so hard to, get out of the West Shore School District, to clean out, and we still got more to go. They want to bring, like I stated in another video, the trash back in. That's what they want to do. Now, West Shore Unify, also supports them. But remember that I told you that they want to silence the people. Well, look at point number 4. Religious preferences should be respected, but privately held. Tell me that they're not trying to silence you. You have freedom of speech. Okay. And this is religious persecution. Either way you put it, it's religious persecution. So if you are of any faith, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're Catholic, whether you're Hindi, whatever faith you may have, whether you're Jewish, okay, they want to silence you. And these are the people endorsing Teri Mickle, Brian Guistwhite, Cambic, and Dunkowski. So does this sound like something a true conservative would stand for and align themselves with? But Guistwhite aligned himself with this? I don't expect any better from Mickle because I've seen her in the meetings. I always knew that she's for all this LGBTQ. She may knock on your door and say she's not. She is. She is. I mean, look at the people who's endorsing her. Okay, so West Shore Unify. Strong public schools are foundational to democracy. There goes the word again. Democracy. Okay, and how do they create these strong public schools? Because we've seen the scores. The scores are horrendous. They're talking about money for them to continue to bring in the teachers union. And we all know what the teacher unions are about. I thank God that President Trump is trying to abolish the Department of Education. Another thing I think he should go after, if possible, okay, is the teachers union. Yeah, that's going to be a heck of a battle. Okay, but the teachers union, they want to keep the money. Okay, they will use these people as their minions to bring in all these woke agendas and bring in their political views, because although they're saying we're not about political views, they are. But let's continue. The entire community benefits from strong public schools. If they are doing what a school is supposed to do, which is teach, yes. But the problem is that these organizations, okay, like Brian Guistwhite and Teri Mickle, they support indoctrination, which is something totally different. Our kids have been indoctrinated. Our schools have become government schools. And this needs to stop. And we need to take back the West Shore School District, guys. Okay, number 3, elected officials should be accountable to their constituents rather the special interests of political organizations, and should act with transparency. So, I thank God that our conservative board, okay, they do listen to their constituents. They are accountable to their constituents, even though the left says that they don't, because why? They're not aligning with the left agenda nor political views, okay? Um and they are acting with transparency. I've seen that, okay, in this year that they are there. And they do not push their political agendas, but people like West Shore Unify and West Shore Student First and the Greater Harrisburg Realtor Association does. Okay. But the thing about gaslighting is that people who gaslight, they project their issues on you. They'll take and what they are doing incorrectly, they'll say it's you when it's in reality them. And then it makes you doubt yourself too. Sometimes you're like, well, am I really doing this? No, that's part of gaslighting, to make you believe that you are when you're not. Okay. So religious preferences should be respected but privately held. So yeah, no, we got freedom of speech. So wake up. Hello. Somebody get these people a copy of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. All students and members of a school community should feel welcome, safe, and supported. Well, our children do feel welcome, safe, and supported. The problem is that they're trying to say again that the LGBTQ kids don't feel safe, supported, and welcome. And that is a creation of their own mind and the indoctrination that they have been given. Because as far as I know, I haven't seen any or no heard as of yet of any LGBTQ kid being bullied because they are LGBTQ. And if there is, then yes, that should be addressed, and the child who's doing it should be corrected and or suspended if needed, or sent to counseling if needed. Schools should be adequately funded and managed in a fiscal responsible way. I agree with that. Okay. This is why, when they bought for the topic of the Apple iPads, do our children need Apple iPads? Absolutely not. That's fiscally irresponsible. But this is something that the veteran school board members, including Brian Geisler, was for. And then the thing is, Apple is their accessories is exclusively, purchased only through Apple. So if a parent needs to get a charger, they may have to pay $50, $75 for that charger. Okay, so they're already taxing you to death. Now they want you to get more money out that, in today's economy, in today's, climate, may be difficult for some families. Okay, so and about fiscal responsibility, well, look at the debt that Brian Geisler got us into. Okay, have you seen your tax bill? Thank Mr. Geisler when you see him. School board directors should respect policy, process, and the law, and they do. And because they have respected policy, process, and the law, is that the former school board members, the veteran school board members, and the people from this organization, West Shore Unified, some of the people there, and from West Shore Student First, decided to start a lawfare against the board because they were following process, policy, and the law. Now, amongst themselves, the veteran school board members and the administration decided to pull some chicanery to make it look as though they did not. But I think that once this, sunshine violation lawfare is set and over with, there's going to be a lot of surprises when these people are clear of any wrongdoing. Now they are, extending and dragging this out because they're hoping that this lawfare is going to affect them at the polls. That's what's happening. It's like when you remember when they were suing for social emotional learning. So the school board dragged the settlement that they were supposed to give the parents, okay, through after election day in November because they were scared that it was going to affect, okay, the results of the election. And did it affect the results of the election? Yes, because the social emotional learning lawsuit was part of it, but also the silencing of the parents, Brian Guistwhite yelling and talking down to the parents, the pornographies that came into the school under his watch, okay, all that came into play. Respectful public discourse is essential to democracy. Here we go again. Democracy. Are you guys following? And the thing is, we have one organization saying it and now we have another one. Now, I found something very interesting, and that is that um okay, here you go again. This is West Shore Unifying. Stand up for public education everywhere. Stand up for public education. And that's because they are constantly attacking the cyber school kids. Constantly attacking the cyber school kids. And that's basically what, that sign means. But again, I have asked some of the candidates here and some of the veteran school board members that are still there and the administration. Okay, so you don't want the kids in cyber school, and we're bleeding kids, through our eyes. The kids are leaving. Parents are pulling them out. What are you doing to stop the bleeding? All you hear is crickets. But we got to stop cyber school. All you hear is crickets. All you hear is crickets. So there is a group. Let's see if I can find their name. I think it's called Education Voter PA. Education Voters PA. Correct. Okay, so this particular group that just endorsed Teri Mickle. And I was looking through their website, okay, and I found very interesting that they have, and I'm going to see if I can bring it up, a flyer. Um, and the flyer, they give the people that they endorse a kit, and it is called an advocacy kit. Okay, and it's teaching them how to be advocates. Okay, for the left. That's what it's teaching them, how to be advocates for the left. And there's a sheet called Understanding School Boards. And here they do a comparison, a contrast. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to bring that up, and I do apologize for that. They do a comparison, a contrast between conservative school board members and liberal school board members. And according to this, anybody that has religious beliefs on a school board, okay, according to them, they're radicalizing these people that they're endorsing, like Teri Mickle, to believe that these people with religious beliefs have an agenda that they're trying to push on the kids, and they're trying to push on the board. Um, they are making people believe that if you are a conservative school board member, okay, that you are targeting kids and you like to intimidate kids. This is what they're saying. They're pretty much saying that the left are bullies, okay, that the left, pretty much are extremists. That's the term that they use. They have a section called the Rights of Extremists in Pennsylvania School Board. And then, I'm going to read this part here. I found it interesting. This is the people that are promoting Teri Mickle. The Rights of Extremism in Pennsylvania School Boards. Now, you can find this on their own website, okay, edvoterspa.org, okay? And that's going to lead you to the advocacy kit. So, the rise of extremism in Pennsylvania school boards. In recent years, Pennsylvania has become a focal point for extremist politicians, including at school district level. In some places, extremist school board members promote a political agenda and impose their personal and religious belief on students, teachers, and district staff. That is a lie. That is a lie. Okay, let's continue. Their goals include enacting regressive book bans, censorship of classroom discussion about race and gender identity, and policies discriminating against individual students because they identify as LGBTQ. That right there, what I just read, is a crock of fish. Okay, because what the conservative did, first of all, they're not pushing their religious beliefs on anybody because they can't, okay, and they won't. When it comes to religious belief, and I am people know, a Christian. I don't call myself religious. I call myself a Christian. But anyway, that's for another time. As a Christian, if you want to know my belief, I'll let you know. I'll let you know what I, believe in, why I believe what I believe in. If you want me to pray for you, I'll pray for you. And if you don't, I won't even go there with you because at the end of the day, you know, um, like the Bible says, God knocks on your heart. If you allow him to knock on your heart and you open the door and you accept him, great. And if you don't, he's a gentleman. At some point, he's going to stop knocking. And that's totally on you. But to say that you're pushing your belief on anybody, no, this has nothing to do with belief at all. And they also, any parent that have these views, conservative views, they're also considered extremism. And this is from education voters of Pennsylvania, the people that just endorsed Teri Mickle and gave her this pretty little certificate that if you go on her webpage, she's bragging about and everybody is celebrating. They are indoctrinating her. She's going to become a radical school board member with this belief, okay? And that we're pushing political agenda. With us, it's never about political agenda. It's about our kids, okay? And imposing our beliefs and our agendas on teachers and staff. That we are book banners, that we want censorship on classroom discussions about race and gender identity, and policies discriminating against individual students because they identify as the LGBTQ. That is a lie. So let's put all this in perspective. First and foremost, we are conservatives and they know it. And I'm yet to see a conservative come to the school and have a fit or throw a fit, in a school board like what we saw this week. Okay, because you don't align with our political views. Listen, this is America. You can have your views, we can have ours. And we should both respect. But the problem is that they're too busy, requesting respect from us and not giving it back. And to impose our religious beliefs, that's a straight out lie. Okay, we respect whoever has a belief or don't have a belief. That's on them. Okay, and that we're imposing that on teachers and school district staff. No, what we are asking for is for morality. That's what we're asking for. Morality. Respect people's views and people's morality. Their goals include enacting regressive book bans. No. What we're saying is that the books should be age appropriate and content appropriate. I think I have shown you guys various times, okay, copies of books that I have found, in the West Shore School District. And um I even did a book review on one of the books that is currently there, okay? So no, absolutely not. Um what we're asking is for the books to be age and content appropriate. There is no reason, and I don't care if they are in elementary school, will make it much worse, or in high school. There is no reason that the children should have access to a book that depicts acts of kids performing sexual acts upon each other. Okay. While Guistwhite was president, I brought to his attention that I found the book, which is very disturbing. I found two books in the Cedar Cliff Library. One was genderqueer, And that book is really disgusting because it actually shows children having sexual acts, performing sexual acts upon each other. And then the other one was gender gay. No, the other one was This Book is Gay. This Book is Gay. And that book was disturbing itself because in the back, if you look at a glossary that I have, it's teaching children um, BSM language and topics, okay, because they do. And it's hard to take in and accept that a school director, at the time he was the president, would allow such material in. So when we brought this to his attention, and mind you, in his defense, we did go in late. But you guys know my husband's schedule and my schedule is crazy. But we figured before the school starts again, let's bring this to his attention, thinking that we were talking to somebody with common sense. Get this out of the school. What happened? 24 hours. Their minions, the York Dispatch and Penn Lies, they hit pieces on me and my husband, calling us exactly what I just finished reading, calling us extremist. So tell me that these people haven't been radicalized. Okay. And this is something that the people that they just endorse Teri Mickle, just endorsed her. Educators Voter of Pennsylvania. And I highly recommend, guys, that you go into that web page and see what these people stand for. Your jaw is gonna drop. Okay, it is a total indoctrination camp for these school board members, and then you deal with somebody with like Terry Mickle that's already partially radicalized. It's gonna finish radicalizing her, and they work hand in hand with the teachers unions. Okay. So yeah, and they are looking to bring in their people, to bring in their agendas, to bring in their political views, and bring this kind of trash back into the schools. And these are the people supporting Teri Mickle. Okay. Now, in reference to what I said to Guistwhite, we've had Marty Burp. Oh, she's so terrible. Oh, she's saying so much terrible things about Guistwhite. Oh. But you know what? I said one time, and they were denying it. They were denying it that Brian Guistwhite's wife was heading an LGBTQ club in the West Shore School District. Now, in the time that he was president, his wife was the head of the head librarian, and she was heading an LGBTQ club. So I had to hear Marty Burt running her mouth at the school board meeting. Oh, she's being terrible. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Mr. Guy was right that she's saying these things about you. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, there you go. The group is called the Gay Straight Alliance, and who is the advisor who was the one running it? Me oh my, Mrs. Kelly Guisewhite. And she is an assistant principal, I think, of Fairview at the moment. I think of Fairview. Okay. And this is where they were allotting our taxpayers' money. So for him to sit there and try to tell me that he had no knowledge that this trash, and there's more. I encourage parents, I encourage you to go onto the school district website and go onto the online library catalog and just type in LGBTQ or queer in whatever school your child is at and see what comes up, and your jaw will drop. Every year for the last 2 years, maybe three, I have been posting the whole catalog showing the parents the trash that is in the West Shore School District that this man and his wife allowed in. Now, that being stated, the question was, Mariana, who are the conservatives? Is is Teri Mickle? Because like I stated, her people have been knocking doors on at Region 2 and making people believe that she is a conservative and that she's against LGBTQ and that she's against all gender bathrooms and that she's against transgender bathrooms and that she's against boys in women's sports when Adam Trung on Thursday, and you can see this in the video, guys. Go into the West Shore School District site and see in the video when Adam Trung and Mr. Guistwhite said yes to that policy. She was out of sorts because I was watching her. I was sitting directly across her. I was watching. She was out of sorts. She got up and she needed to go and gather herself and get air, but you saw the anger in her face because they say yes. So that poses another question. Somebody said to me, "Well, if Brian Guistwhite is not a conservative, then why did he say yes to the policy? Because it's election time. It's election time, and he is trying to convince you that he is a conservative, and he's not." Okay. And then even with that, he was giving all this hoopla about how about the boys? We need to tweak up this policy. How about the boys? I don't understand how he doesn't get it. That Title IX is about the girls and protecting the girls' rights, protecting the girls in sports. And we're living in a nonsensical era in that, like Christy was saying in the meeting, we have board members that refuse to define what a woman is, like Abigail Traney. We have administrators like Toss Stoltz. Okay. We have Cambic. And unfortunately, guys white fell in the same trap. They will not define what a woman is. They will not define what, and if you guys go to one of their town halls or you hear them speaking, you're gonna hear them speak and you're gonna go and see. Okay, ask them. They have a question and answer time. Ask them. Convince yourself what is a woman. Ask them. I would, and see what the reply comes. Well, it's what people, they decide the birth certificate doesn't really say, or we can't use the birth certificate. Why not? You saying the doctor's wrong? You're either male or female. The chromosomes are where they are, but they will not define a woman. But let's get back to the topic because I'm gonna go down to some rabbit trails, and it's kind of like seeing what you just saw. These two individuals are being endorsed by West Shore Student First, West Shore Unified, the Greater Harrisburg Realtor Association that I just showed you. They're a bunch of liberal hacks themselves because they are. There you go. Okay, they are. Then we have West Shore Unified that believes that they need to silence you if you believe in God. Okay, and also they're promoting LGBTQ agenda, diversity, inclusion, all this other stuff that we're working so hard to clean the West Shore School District. Then you have Brian Guistwhite, okay, that while he was president, his wife was the head of the Gay Straight Alliance. If she still is, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if she is. And now she's an assistant principal in Fairview and causing her little havoc because she has this little chip on her shoulder because she has a doctorate. And God forbid that a child calls her Mrs. Guistwhite. It's Dr. Guistwhite. Okay. And I've heard this from the children themselves. Okay. But in the time that he was president, his wife was the head of the Gay Straight Alliance in our school district. This trash and more. There's more than this in our schools. And he's going to claim ignorance. So, in your opinion, are these two conservative? Well, I can almost 110% guarantee you that they're not. Not only because they align with the woke agendas of these organizations and Although they're saying public school is important because they want the money. They want the money to come in. The teachers union wants the money also. And to using these organizations as their minions. Okay. So cyber school bad, but they have no solution as to how to keep our children because the problem is internal. And they started leaving in numbers under Brian Guistwhite watch because he allowed the administration to go as unreign as it is now. So are these people conservatives? I can assure you they're not. But do your homework. Go into the West Shore Unified page. Go into the West Shore Student First page. Go into the Pennsylvania, let me see what these people are called again. The Education Voters of Pennsylvania page. Go there, especially where the advocacy toolkit is at. Okay? Go there and see what they really stand for. And they're endorsing her and she's proud of it and she's accepting it because she aligns with their value. So the question, my dear, is the answer to that question is no, they're not. No, they're not. So do your own research. I can only show you so much. Do your own research. So who do we want to vote this year for? Well, we have Sandra Gonzalez that is running against Brian Guistwhite. And I think all of us know who Mrs. Gonzalez is. She's this feisty lady that always on the school at the school board meetings, and she's known for her Trump shirts. I love Sandra, okay, but she is fighting for transparency. She's fighting for parental rights. She's fighting for classical education. She's fighting to make sure that the parents, you know, have a choice. That if the school district is failing your child, you have the choice to pull them out and put them in cyber school if you have to. She's fighting for fiscal responsibility because she saw alongside me and other parents the financial mess that Brian Guistwhite led us in. And you know what? Kudos to her. And then the reason I say that is because she did not crossfile. She did not play this bipartisan game. And she will say, I am a conservative and I am a Republican. Deal with it. So this is the woman, guys, that you want in Region 3. It's time to say goodbye to Guistwhite because he has left us in chaos. He has left a legacy of chaos in the West Shore School District, of chaos, disaster, of child indoctrination. Think about it. That's his legacy. It could have been something different, but because he decided to endorse all these agendas and these political ideologies that they are bringing in, they're accusing the conservative parents and the conservative community of bringing it in. No, they brought it in. It's time to tell Brian Guistwhite, your time is up and bring fresh blood. Okay, Sandra may not have a doctorate, but this is one smart woman. Sandra can tell you what a woman is. Sandra can count. She can help balance that budget and stop frivolous spending. Sandra will be the voice of the parent and the voice of the child. Sandra will go through, through a fine tooth comb through all the curriculums. She will fight for what is right. This is the woman that you need in Region 3, a true conservative. And in Region 2, like I just showed you, yes, Teri Mickle is getting a lot of endorsement. She is. From people that align with her values. She is too cowardly to say that she supports woke agendas, that she's bringing her political agendas into the schools, that she is for gender neutral bathrooms, that she is taxed to the max Mickle. So we have tax to the max Mickle and tax to the max Guistwhite. That's going to be the end of us as a district. They will tax you to the max. And when that happens, and the parents keep pulling the kids out of the school, and we have a mass exodus, then we're really going to be in trouble as a district. Look at the organizations that she aligns herself with. More of the same rhetoric and trash that we're trying to get out of the West Shore. Now, she's coming against this lovely lady. This lady has faced the woke mob. She has faced the cancel culture. They have tried to destroy her business. They have tried to destroy her husband's business. And when everything failed, they hit her with lawfare because she's standing for your kids. She's in between them and your kids. She is against indoctrination. Against political ideologies. She's about classical education. Regardless of what they say, don't listen to that. And then you look at the people who supports her, like the PA economic growth. Oh, you've heard a lot of bad things about them. Why? Because that group of people is fighting for your businesses, is fighting for small government, is fighting for classical education, is fighting to get this trash that Guistwhite allowed into the West Shore out. Okay. And we're requesting, age appropriate content, age appropriate books in our schools. So every chance they get, ever since Kelly walked in, ever since Kelly walked in, it's been an attack on her character. But she stands firm. And I want to thank Mrs. Brent and the conservative school board members for passing that, policy and protecting our girls in their sports. Even that was a battle. Common sense policies. She's working to try to balance out, this crazy budget and this financial mess that Guistwhite left behind. She inherited his mess. And of course, they want to, blame her. She's for classical education. She is fighting for the Red Land Project, for the Red Land Project. Okay, she has fought for the Red Land Project tooth and nail because you know what, guys? Those kids, they deserve their own sports stadium. And praise God, just this week they had the ribbon cutting. What a success. And for years, Guistwhite, and for years, Cherney and Cambic, that was there before, and the former sitting on it, doing nothing. This little lady comes and turns everything around, and she's been winning, 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 and accomplishing things that needed to be accomplished, and that is what they don't like about her. That they can't buy her, they can't bribe her, because we just saw another issue just this week. Adam Trone trying to bribe another school board member. And he's part of this lawfare also. And that shows us the true character of Adam Trone. Even how he got on the ballot to run for school board director. Okay? How he did two women dirty. Two women dirty to make sure that he was the only one on that ballot. Now the parents, we knew that, but now the bribery issue comes up. But it showed two things. It showed his character, but it also showed the character of the school board member, Mr. Brenton. It showed that Mr. Brenton, I always knew that Mr. Brenton's smart. I can see that. Good with numbers. Okay. But it also shows that Mr. Brenton is a man of integrity. There's a word for you, integrity. Something that very few people in our day and age have. He is a man of integrity, and kudos to Mr. Brenton for doing the right thing. But this little lady here that you see, that's a little firecracker. That's a businesswoman, business brain, business minded, knows numbers, knows how to put policies together, can understand policies, can see the needs, and have a very big empathetic heart for your kids. Unfortunately, there's a lot more she wants to do for the kids, but we have the problem with the administration always trying, to throw a wrench in everything. But that's something that the administration has to be handled, okay? And hopefully they will see the need to rein in this administration. So who do you want to vote for May 20th? Miss Kelly Brandt. Mrs. Kelly Brandt, I apologize. Mrs. Kelly Brandt and Mrs. Sandra Gonzalez. Because that little firecracker right there, she's going to stir things around. That little firecracker right there is going to make things happen. So May 20th, tell Guistwhite his time is up. He can pack up his books and read in his own house alongside his wife. Tell Guistwhite that his time is up because Sandra's coming in, Sandra Gonzalez. And tell Teri Mickle we don't need any more of this mess because you just showed us what your values is and are, and with who you associate yourself with, who you align yourself with, because you are aligned with their values, but you are too cowardly to admit it. So guys, May 20th, primary day. Keep Mrs. Brent in that seat because she's the one fighting for your kids alongside with the other conservative board members. And bring Mrs. Gonzalez in because this firecracker is going to stir things up and she's going to start aligning. You know, I compare her to the Incredible Hulk. My kids love the Marvel, these Marvel characters. And sometimes I have to sit and see these movies with them. And I remember, I don't know which one of them it is because there's just so many of them, but there's one in which they are fighting in New York with these beings, okay? And they're losing miserably. And the Black Spider looks at, what is his name? Benjamin something, whatever his name is. This is how bad I am with this. Okay, but the guy that turns into the Hawk, and she's telling him, "Come on, join the fight, get mad," and he's like, "No, no. I mean, it's chaotic when I get mad." And she looks at him, "Well, that's what we need. A little more. That's what we need. Chaos." Okay, and I compare the Hawk to her. Okay, because sometimes people say she's chaotic, she's this and this is the sweetest lady you will ever meet. But and like the Incredible Hulk, she will fight along, okay, with these school board members to make it happen and fight for your kids and bring classical education back. Again, May 20th, Kelly Brent, keep her in that seat. Keep her in that seat because they're attacking her because she's getting the job done. And say no to Teri Mickle. Say no to Teri. Like I keep saying, you vote for Mickle, you're going to get in the pickle. You're going to get us in a bigger pickle than where we are. No to Teri. It's time to tell Guistwhite, get his, bag, his briefcase, put his little books in it, get out, because we're bringing Sandra in. May 20th, Sandra Gonzalez, Region 3, Kelly Brent, Region 2. And I will repeat it again. These two people, Brian Guistwhite and Teri Mickle, conservative, they're not. They're not. By their fruits you shall know them. I'm seeing and smelling rotten fruit. Kelly Brent, Region 2. Sandra Gonzalez, Region 3. So, this is Mariana. signing out. God bless you. Have a great Mother's Day, and I hope to see you at the polls.